Good night, good evening. Tonight we're coming with ancestral messages through Blood Moon Oracle. We're going to take a look and see what messages are coming through from the ancestors. So I'm using a few different decks. I found earlier that I really enjoyed my Chakra Oracle, my Chakra Tarot deck. Earlier there was quite a few messages coming through when I was doing the reading for my daily encouragement, and so I'm bringing this back out. I'm also using my Oppositions Tarot, and then I'm using the Wisdom from Hidden Realms Oracle for encouraging messages. And so let's take a look. I shuffled, cleansed my space. What are the messages, any messages coming through from the ancestors? We're asking for energies from the highest light, right, to come through here for encouragement, for guidance, for direction, for blessing. What are the messages coming through from the ancestors tonight? What would you have us to know, ancestors? All right, let's see. I hope you guys are well. Again, Blood Moon Oracle here. Please like, share, comment. If you have not, consider subscribing, and it would be much appreciated. All of those things help for my channel to grow, and so it is all very much appreciated. Okay, so let's see the messages coming in from the ancestors. All right, Wheel of Fortune, Four of Swords, Five of Swords, and the Eight of Swords. Okay, there's a little mixture going on here. A lot of green coming in here. I just saw like the color of my screen change to like a greenish hue as well. So lots of possible heart energy coming in here. Taking a look first at the Wheel of Fortune, which is Jupiterian energy, Sagittarian energy. There's a lot going on right now in the spirit realm. The ancestors are bringing to your attention kind of like there's like a lot of movement happening. The Wheel of Fortune brings up not only the energy of luck and abundance, but it also brings in the energy of karma. I feel like the ancestors want you to know right now that a lot of things are shifting and moving right now. A lot of things are in the air right now and possibly are about to be placed where they belong. I feel like there's some things that are being handled, things up in the air. There are things that are being handled. This Wheel of Fortune energy has a lot to do with destiny. It has a lot to do with timing. There could be things that are at hand right now. This energy is coming up, but it has a lot to do with divine timing. And I'm looking in this picture of the Wheel of Fortune. There's a cup, there's a wand, there's a sword, and there's a pinnacle, right? The fact that all of these elements are here talks about these are the tools of the magician, right? And this is almost like the ancestors are letting you know that you have been given certain things, certain tools, possibly even certain gifts to utilize. And the ancestors want you to sum up. They want you to conjure up, to summon those things that you've been given, those tools, those gifts even realize that you have, I almost feel like you have a certain energy or power over certain forces, right? It's almost like the energy of summoning up. The ancestors are talking about either they want you to actually utilize this, or they are actually summoning up on your behalf something here. And it has something to do with heart energy, something that's weighing or something that's in your heart. They could be lifting something off of your shoulders. So there's a lot of good energy coming in with the Wheel of Fortune. Generally, this is good. I feel like this is good energy. We also have the Four of Swords, which also talks about heart energy. But this is talking about rest, laying something to rest. The ancestors are talking about setting your mind at ease. Swords are mental energy. Four of Swords talks about this very foundational energy that's going to be very beneficial for you. Needing to prepare for something. There might be messages coming in. The ancestors want you to rest. I'm looking at this picture and he's resting. They want you to rest. There's something coming that's going to require for you to be very rested. Because what's happening, what this Wheel of Fortune is bringing in is going to require a lot of energy, right? What's being settled right now, there's like the need to prepare for it, to rest up, to restore your energy so you'll be able to actually handle it, whatever this is here. I feel like whatever this is actually coming in really fast. They want you to actually be prepared and not to be caught on empty, I'm hearing. But there's a need to rest. The Four of Swords talks about rest. This could also talk about things that may have been out of your control recently, and things are being shifted back into a place of your favor. I don't know if there was like something that you desired recently and you were let down. There was some type of decline that you received, something that you really wanted really bad. But this is letting you know that actually it's all about timing. The ancestors want you to know not to give up on that, but to actually prepare yourself, because exactly what you were waiting for is actually coming in. But you just have to be in a position to receive it. Yeah, for some of you, this isn't even about being rejected. This is about you understanding that rejection sometimes is redirection. There may have been something that you thought you wanted, but really under the surface of that thing is something totally different. It's not really something that you wanted. It's something that's not right for you. And so this could actually be your ancestors also letting you know to reconsider, to pull back your efforts and lay low. I'm hearing that as well. There's something that you may be going after or think that you want when actually it's not. It's not. For some of you, this is to release the strenuous desire of it and just let it flow to you, right? There's some position of being relaxed here that the ancestors is pointing to. We also have the Five of Swords. And of course, we know that the Five of Swords talks about some level of mental conflict coming in here. And something about taking some necessary loss, possibly. But it's not a loss of something. Someone may, in fact, the ancestors are saying there may be a loss of something coming up here, but it's not going to be something that you hold as valuable. This is actually going to be something that is going to make room for something else that will be more important, more useful, and more aligned. Whatever this is going to up-level you. And so this card, I feel like the ancestors is preparing you to deal with something that may look one way, but it actually is the total opposite. It's almost like going to be like a blessing in disguise. And it's going to be something that comes as a sacrifice, right? You'll release something in order to achieve something better or make room for something better. For some of you, the ancestors is letting you know to consider the struggles, the battles that you have, something about you recognizing that your struggles, what you've been through, is actually real. And there's something about having to defend yourself in the past or protect yourself. They're saying that, yeah, that was not all in your head. That was real. And there's no easy way to learn these types of lessons around, setting good boundaries, learning like what's good for you and what's not, familiarizing yourself with the benefits of having some type of boundary or limits for ourselves. And then for someone, there's some up-leveling that you're going through too. And the ancestors are saying there's someone that is on your team right now that you're not going to be able to bring with you. This Five of Swords talks about some type of separation. The ancestors are saying where you're going, someone is not coming with you. So there's some separation here. The Five of Swords is actually a very conflictual card. This may, in fact, create a level of conflict between you and someone else as you walk away or move forward. It's a difficult situation because the Five of Swords, there is no winner. Like everyone sacrificed something or everyone takes a loss. This talks about some level of breakdown where everyone is dissatisfied with the results. And so lastly, we have the Eight of Swords coming in with fiery energy. Now, generally, I'm looking at this picture here and I see a woman looking at herself in the mirror. Her reflection is very different than the reality of what it is. You see that? The ancestors are questioning how you're seeing yourself. And why are you seeing yourself tied down and blindfolded and not able to actually see clearly? It is, in fact, just an illusion. That's how you're seeing yourself, but that's not the reality of what it is. I feel like the ancestors want you to realize how you are actually seeing yourself. There's some self-limiting vision that you have of yourself. And I can't help but see how this is actually coming from the root chakra. So this could have some bearings on foundations. Like this could be rooted in childhood trauma, not feeling safe or feeling vulnerable where you are right now. You could be having some level of thoughts around not being sure about the future. The ancestors are addressing how you're seeing things right now. There's some type of struggle with how you're seeing things. For some of you, there's a lack of movement. The ancestors are saying something about not being afraid of starting over if necessary. Yeah. There's some illusion of being restricted or not being able to move freely, but it's not, it's an illusion that you're projecting on yourself. The ancestors are bringing this in. Someone could feel stuck, but the ancestors are saying that you're not. That you're not. This is a projection. And I don't know if it's rooted in childhood issues or trauma. Maybe sometimes people say things and it takes a while for us to realize that that was and I'm going to use this word, it was a curse, right? That someone spelled on us and it just kind of stuck there for a while. It's not even true. But because we believed it and we made place for it, it kind of has a paralyzing effect because we've succumbed and we've submitted to it. But all it takes is for us to actually realize that it was a lie and to denounce that lie. And we begin to operate and intend the very opposite of that lie. That's how you break that. The ancestors want you to break some type of lie that kind of has you feeling like you don't have the ability to move like you actually do. There's some illusion being cast here. There's a need, and the ancestors want you to challenge like old thoughts, old ideas that could be keeping you back, keeping you stuck. Yeah. So looking at all these swords around her, the swords actually represent things in the mind that prevent movement. The swords talk about like imprisoning thoughts that keep us from standing in our power. And just to give you an example of like what that is specifically, like if someone told you growing up, you know, you're never going to amount to anything. You're always messing stuff up, you know, and then you just keep hearing that enough until you start to believe it. And so you start to operate out of that, the fact that you're never going to be enough. So you always kind of take the easy route and you never really allow yourself to challenge, you know, ideas or things that are difficult. You always play it safe, you know, just it could play out that way. And you never really get a chance to really experience anything outside of whatever safety net you have. If for some, it could be a relationship that because it's familiar and it you know, holds a level of expectancy, even though it may not be good for you. It could be abusive. It could be disempowering, but because it's familiar, it feels safe. You at least know what to expect, right? And even though you know it's not healthy, there's something mentally that keeps you from stepping out of it. There's some mental belief keeping you there, right? So that would be like an example. Not that that's what it is, but I'm just giving you an example of what that would look like. It could be a relationship. It could be a job that you've outgrown, that you've long time ago needed to walk away from, but because there's some limiting belief that's keeping you there, you don't really allow yourself the space to try something more, to try something different. And it's those beliefs, these swords represent those mental beliefs that are surrounding and keeping you trapped, keeping you still, right there, unmoved. And the ancestors are bringing this up today. Possibly even challenging you to challenge yourself. So I want to go back and look at this Wheel of Fortune, Spirit. So there's a mixture. I feel like there's definitely very good energy coming out here, but there's some challenging perspectives as well that the ancestors are bringing up today. So why is the Wheel of Fortune here? Why have you brought out the Wheel of Fortune, ancestors? Why is the Wheel of Fortune here? And I'm using my Tarot of Oppositions to clarify, just to get more information on these energies that were brought out. And so we have the Seven of Swords and the King of Cups on the shadow side. Ooh. So I do definitely feel like for someone, this is an end coming to possibly some situation. The ancestors are announcing this end to having to feel like you have to watch your back, or that you have to stay, you know, in position to something that you realize is not, you know, for your highest good. Looking at this King of Cups coming in on the shadow side, this is definitely an energy to be weary of. The King of Cups on the shadow side can actually utilize, the King of Cups carries a lot of power, right? But when that is not utilized with the best intention, it could become very manipulative, even very detrimental for whoever it is actually intending that energy on. And the Wheel of Fortune is talking about karma, this energy of things being shifted around, but it's talking about things shifting around in your favor, possibly even things being undone. And so there could be a disconnection from manipulative energies. I don't know who that could be, but there could be the energy of someone very manipulative who is good at hiding their true intentions, that you've had some interaction with. Yeah. This also could actually be not really having a good idea. This King of Cups coming in reverse could also talk about not being able to decipher how to regulate the powers that you have. You may be gifted in some type of way, and being able to connect with people. You know, if you're someone who's just walking into these types of things, right? Sometimes it takes a minute to understand what we have and the responsibility that comes along with that. And sometimes it's easy to get thrown off path to where we start using what's been given for the good of all You know, it takes a minute to understand that. It wasn't given for our own selfish desires, but it was given for the good of the whole, right? There's a much higher purpose behind what we've been given. So if it's not someone else that these tides are turning around this situation, it could be how we're experiencing and seeing things. The ancestors is bringing a stop to something, because the Seven of Swords gives the energy of being clear about something, being on guard, needing to understand the importance of being watchful and seeing things from every corner, every perspective, having clarity. Yeah. And so, this Wheel of Fortune, I feel like, is shaking things up. I don't know if someone who's watching this has played the part of the one receiving the negative part of this interaction, and maybe things are turning in your favor now. But this feels like the situation is changing. The wheel is turning, and those tables, right, are turning. That's what that means. That means karma is being unleashed. And so depending on what side of that, what you have dealt, right, may depend on what side of the fence you sit on. Hopefully I feel like this is talking about things shifting in your favor as the viewer. This is a message coming in that we are handling it, is what the ancestors are saying, and things are shifting. Like things are being rearranged to equal things out. Okay. Yeah, because the Seven of Swords talks about escaping something that has been very unfavorable. And so, yeah, the ancestors are definitely at work behind the scenes, evening out the playing field on your behalf. And they want you to know that. Now, your part in this, being that this comes in with heart energy, right, is understanding that things are being handled. They want you to release this. Any grievances that you have around being treated unfairly, understand that things are actually being justified, and you don't have to take it upon yourself to try to make things right. It's going to be made right on your behalf. Okay, so you can actually release any unforgiveness, any grievances around this, whatever that is, understand that it's being handled. Because if you were to try to take this into your own hands, or if you wanted to hold on to this as a way of keeping something over someone's head, there's consequences to that. And your ancestors don't want you to carry the burden of it. It's almost like they're saying, we got it, just release it and keep growing. Okay. Just keep focusing on you. They want you to take care of yourself, especially if you're in some type of relationship. They want you to reframe how you're seeing things, because it is going to play out exactly like it's supposed to. Okay. Let's take a look. Why is the Four of Swords here? The Four of Swords. All right. And so to clarify the Four of Swords, we have the Ace of Pentacles coming out on the shadow side, and the Star coming in right side up on the bright side. And so Again, the Four of Swords was the ancestors was saying it's important to get rest and also to release. It's important to get rest, to prepare, and to release something so that you'll be in position for when things actually turn into the favorable position for you to move. Okay, now it's clarified by the Ace of Pentacles coming in on the shadow side. And the Ace of Pentacles on the shadow side is a reminder not to allow yourself to be distracted. The Four of Swords, pull back, lay low, disengage. Your ancestors is saying don't allow yourself to be distracted or use unnecessary energy, use unnecessary resources right now. This is a time to really pay attention. There's a lot of swords. All of the cards are swords. It's all sword energy, which talks about mental focus, clarity, where you're paying attention, right? Your ancestors want you to pay attention to the utilizing of your resources, and yes, energy as well. And to be selective, choose wisely, even who you invite to stand by your side right now. Choose wisely who you surround yourself with this Ace of Pentacles coming in on the shadow side. It's important. This is also a time for you to prepare by planning, studying. If there's something that you see clearly in your future, this is a time to be ready for it. Prepare yourself for it. Study, prepare, plan. And this is like, there's so much to do right now. You don't have a lot of energy to waste. You don't have a lot of resources to waste right now. And so they definitely want you to be very selective with what you're pouring into, right? And especially if it's neglecting you, pouring into yourself and replenishing yourself. There's something about not wasting energy and resources. There's something here about even tapping into who you are, understanding, because when you really understand who you are, what you've been called to do, I feel like that's when you don't have a lot of time for anything else. When you're not sure, then yeah, you have a wide range of space for everything. But when you get more pinpointed, more focused in who you are and what you've been called to do, then that eliminates a lot of things. That clarity eliminates a lot of things. Yeah. And so the ancestors want you to be careful of what you are exerting. What you're exerting and how much you're exerting. There's something the ancestors is pointing to with the star. Like they're saying there's something different about you. Like you're not, accept that you're not like everybody else, period. That's what they're saying. Just accept that you're not like everybody else. And you haven't been called to do what everybody else is doing either. And it's almost like an indication that it's time. The ancestors are saying it's like time to really accept something and stop holding yourself back or stop being available to everything when you're being called to be available for something. There's a saying that is coming to mind right now. The ancestors are giving me this quote that says, when you don't stand for anything, you fall for everything. Or stand for something or fall for anything, for everything. And so let's find out why the Five of Swords is here. And I'm going to take it. It fell out. So the ancestors gave us these two cards. We have the Six of Wands coming in on the shadow side. And then we have the Judgment coming in upright, clarifying the Five of Swords, which we kind of got the inclination that this is about you possibly having to leave some people behind, you possibly having to make some kind of sacrifice for something that was possibly never fully aligned. There's some redirection here, and there may in fact be some conflict around you being redirected. Your ancestors is just preparing you to be prepared to defend, to protect what's yours when conflict arises. The Judgment coming out on the light side, there's an angel blowing a trumpet, and the sound of the trumpet is creating a birth, a new life. And there's something that is, this Five of Swords is definitely a card of conflict, but there's something that's being birthed out of this. I feel like the conflict is going to be around like possibly you changing, you experiencing like an awakening or a rebirth. The ancestors is pointing to something here that's changing for sure. There's something totally divine about this, being that the trumpet is being blown by an angel. This is something that's definitely given me the energy like it's out of your hands. It was always going to be, especially with the Wheel of Fortune talking about destiny and divine timing. This was always going to be. And the ancestors are saying, well, it is now time to stop playing. It's time to stop shucking and jiving, right? This is really an energy, I feel like the ancestors are calling you out and inviting you to step out into newness, new life, renewal. It's almost like a serenade of some kind. Everything has been prepared for what you've been called to do, the ancestors are saying. And for those of you that have already stepped out and you've already engaged this battle, right? There's going to be rewards behind what it is that you've been called to do. There's some recognition that the ancestors are pointing to around what you've done or what you're doing, and the value and the goodness of what you've brought into the world. That's what the baby represents. The value that you have brought into the world. And so there are some accolades around that. This might even be the ancestors asking you to analyze, like, what good have you done? And, you know, what is it that you feel like would be right? What do you deserve, right? And to be honest about it, as you look back and see the work that you've done. This card also points to looking back and being the judge of yourself, right? As you step into the energy of being rewarded and recognized and receiving accolades, there's usually this energy of looking back to judge yourself, to say, like, what have I done? Do I deserve this? You know, is this really right for me to stand in this energy? There's some recollection with the past that the ancestors are bringing up here as you move forward, to be really honest, because whatever it is that we feel like we deserve, we don't get any more than that, right? Even coming forward to this Eight of Swords, whatever you feel like you deserve, you will never get any more than that. And so the ancestors are asking you to be really clear about what you feel like you deserve, what you really feel like would be fair according to the work that you've put in, because that's what you expect is actually what you're going to get. Nothing more. Nothing less. But there's some rebirth happening here. There's some change that's happening. Now, the Six of Wands, when we look at the Six of Wands, the Six of Wands usually talks about victory. The Six of Wands is riding in on the white horse, but it's coming in on the shadow side. This too is talking about, right, when we talk about victory, that means we've done some things right. That means we made some good choices. Now, when it comes to coming in on the shadow side, this is questioning, right? Taking a look, examining the choices that have been made, especially as it pertains to not just ourselves, but others. Like, how have our choices affected those around us? And so these two cards are clarifying this Five of Swords. So there's some changes that are happening. The ancestors are bringing this about, and it's definitely going to affect, these changes coming in is going to affect everything that you're connected to. It's going to affect everyone that you're connected to. Some, it's going to be a positive impact. Some, it may not be such a positive experience, but it's actually going to change everything. Because the Six of Wands in reverse talks about the negative impact that the choices that we have to make may actually cause. And this is a time to understand the importance of our decisions and to make sure that we're standing in righteousness, right? Not necessarily trying to people please or trying to keep people from having to learn lessons or having difficult times, but what is right? What is truly right? Okay. And it's coming in on the shadow side because this is possibly someone that's going to actually take this change that you're going to make very much to heart, very seriously. It's going to impact them very deeply. This could also be someone that's used to controlling the situation that you're concerned with, or the situations that you're very much involved in. It's going to bring some worlds down. Okay, some people are going to experience some things, you know, when you shift. But it's the promise that you will receive what's yours. There is for lack of better terms, there is a reckoning, there's a reward, there's a celebration for the work that you'll do, that you have done. And this victory will in fact be yours, but there's going to be a cost to it. There's a sacrifice here that has to be made. And I feel like this is going to be like people that you are very much connected to. Yeah. And people will have the opportunity to react to that however they choose. But again, that's their decision. Let's see, the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords. All right, so the Eight of Swords was clarified by the Eight of Wands coming in on the shadow side, the Ten of Cups coming in on the shadow side, and of course, the Death coming in on the light side. And so, of course, we've been talking about this change that's coming about. The Death, it actually introduces or it announces that change that's coming in. The need for change, for some type of recuperation, like there's something that needs to be restored. And this Death card is announcing that, right? See the flag? There's an announcement here that change is upon us. Change is coming. Yeah, it's coming. And it brings regeneration with it. You see the sun coming in from the background, even though the crops are black, but yet it still shows that there's something rising up here. There's something coming back to life. It's coming, it's being reinvigorated. There's going to be an end to what was causing death and stagnation and obstacles. There's going to be a renewal of strength here, a renewal of vision and sight and clarity, a renewal to the mind and the soul, a renewal to even spaces, our environment, right? There's going to be a change to those things. The ancestors are talking about this energy of the Eight of Swords. It has been very difficult. There's been like a plaguing of the mind that possibly has been challenging and keeping a thwart from forward movement in some type of way. And so the ancestors want you to understand that it's changing. Everything about this message is talking about things shifting right now. They're up in the air and yet to be settled, but it's to know that change has begun. It's taken place. And so prepare is what the ancestors want you to do. Prepare. Make sure that you are at least attempting to clear out anything that's old and stagnant, even in your physical space. It's always good to even do that too. This might be a time to go in and start cleaning out your closets. Start cleaning your mirrors and your windows, like anything that comes to mind as you walk through your living space that says it's time to clear it out. Like it could be a good time to do that because things are being renewed. The energy, the spaces are being renewed inwardly and outwardly. Yeah. So the ancestors want you to be ahead of the game, right? Even though we may not see the changes that are coming in. Number one, they want you to know they are coming. They are in progress right now. And just prepare for it. Create space, new space for this, okay? Mentally, spiritually, and physically. Now, the Ten of Cups comes in, but it comes in on the shadow side. And usually the Ten of Cups is all about being very thankful about what it is that you have when it comes to emotional stability and emotional fulfillment and connections. When it's in the reverse, it almost comes in as a warning to be ready for a difficult situation to arise as it pertains to your emotional connections. 10 of Cups represents family, close friends. These are things that are close to your heart that you have connected your whole being to, because there's some level of fulfillment that you've received from this source. Well, this is a warning that there may be a shakeup of that energy, of that part of your existence. The 10 of Cups coming in reverse talks about disharmony and a need to be ready for that energy to come in and shake up things, even when it comes to moral standards. This is a time to understand what's coming. Your ancestors want you to know that this is coming so that you'll be ahead of the game and prepare yourself mentally, because sometimes we can get knocked off guard. You know, things can take us by surprise, and we can say something that if we had have known that we were going there, like, we would be ready. Well, your ancestors want you to be ready. Things may go there with family. Things may go there with your friends, with your significant other. And so your ancestors are preparing you for this possible crisis that may result, okay, as a result of this change. And the idea behind letting you know is that you will be ready and that you would avoid saying or doing something that you'll later regret. Avoid being a part of an energy that causes division instead of, peace. Avoid misunderstandings and, avoid being the issue causer is what I'm feeling. The 8 of Wands coming in on the shadow side. Yeah, the 8 of Wands coming in on the shadow side. This is fast movement. This is fast movement. The ancestors are saying here that there is a wind that's about to come through. See how he's stumbling over that gate and just knocking it down? There is a wind coming. The ancestors want you to know. And it's not nice. It's not nice. And it's going to blow against you. It might, in fact, even cause stagnation in certain areas. It may, in fact, put things on pause. This is this kind of energy that comes in. But during this time, I feel like this is why this 4 of Swords is coming in, because this is a time that actually allows us to take inventory and analyze ourselves to see like what we're doing. We doing too much? We're not doing enough? Why are we doing what we're doing? Analyze our motives. Like it's like a heart check, right? That this will bring in this kind of energy. Where's my priorities? This could be really a time where you'll need to really place yourself at the center of your focus, because this is going to be a very sensitive time where you may want to actually remove yourself from everything and everyone that just doesn't serve you, or anything that makes you weak or sad, right? Because there's going to be some changes coming. And so more than ever, They want you to understand the importance of your environment, the importance of who you have around you, the importance of all things that you come into contact with. Because this change is going to be an overall change of everything. And it's going to need all of you, right? It's going to need all of you for this to happen. And so I am going to pull just a few cards here for the encouragement, any other energy we need to be aware of, any other messages that our ancestors want to bring in here above and beyond what we've already seen and heard. So it really feels like being released from deep-rooted issues here, deep-rooted conflict that may have been, a part of who we are for a long time. For some of you, this may go all the way back to childhood. These things are being uprooted. So this is some really deep energy here. Change is always difficult. And so it's nice to know that there's going to be, some reward on the other side. Yes, we have to sacrifice, but there's going to be a reward behind all of this change. It's nice to know that we're doing it for something. We're not just doing it to do it, but there is, something that we'll gain on the other side of this. All right, I knew this would come out. The map maker of destiny, okay, which is really tapping into just understanding destiny. This is like the wheel of fortune, the alignment of the stars as it pertains to each one of us. Like there was a specific purpose for you when you were born. The ancestors are saying that it has always been. They may in fact have been waiting on you to accept it, to be open to see what your authentic purpose is. Though you may have had many different sources of inspiration through your life, it's an appointed time that this happens. The Wheel of Fortune talks about timing, divine timing. And then it's also up to us to accept it too. Part of that too is you being open and willing to accept it. We all have free will. At the end of the day, it's up to each of us to accept the call or the opportunity. Okay. And so your ancestors want you to know that this has always been a specific mark on your life. But it's coupled with divine timing, your free will. Like there's so many other elements at play here, but there's something about this moment that marks the spot. Okay. The Hawk Prince. Spiritual communication is coming in here, and that ability to focus and pay attention. I do feel like with the 11, you could be life path number 11. There's something here about being like having visions, possibly being a visionary, having some level of connection with the spirit realm and needing to actually tap in and pay attention and connect to it, right? Part of that is being open and receptive to synchronicities, visions, dreams. For some, it's the direct communications. There's different clairs that we have above our five senses. There's clairaudience, aliens. There's the clairs that allow you to see. There's the clair that allows you to just know. There's the clairgustance that allow you to sense through smell. You know, there's the clair that allows you to hear. There's the clair that allows you to actually feel, right? All of these different ways that we have to connect with the spirit realm are open. And so however you've been given, the ancestors are asking you to be open to that, to receive messages through that channel, okay? For some of you, there's birds that could be your spirit animals. There could be actual messages coming through birds. Whenever you see birds, birds could gather around you. You know, you could come outside and all of a sudden all these birds show up. Pay attention, right? There's messages coming through that channel, okay? Nature could be one of your channels as well. There's something here about birds. Okay. We also have the web weaver. Again, we were just talking about synchronicities, being connected to divine intelligence, understanding that the communication, your ancestors want you to know communication is not just coming through in one way. Like when we talk about divine intelligence, it's unlimited. It's unlimited. Have you ever watched that movie? It's coming up for me, Interstellar. Amazing movie. If you haven't watched it, watch it. And it's talking about going beyond the limits, right? There was a group of scientists that actually went out into spaces unknown, where people have gone and never came back to find out what happened. And there was certain occurrences and evolutions that was happening on Earth that we needed to actually prepare for, right? We don't like to talk about that kind of stuff, but just because you ignore it doesn't mean it's not happening. And so there was a man who decided to go on the mission, didn't know if he would come back, but he went because he had a couple of young kids. He was willing to do that for them. Well, he ended up going out and exploring. He ended up going through a black hole. The gist of the movie was that there was something higher. There was divine intelligence that could only be translated if he was willing to step outside of his limitations, which he did. And through that, he was able to channel energy back to his daughter, which was like, she was like 10 when he left. And when he got back, she was like his age. She was older than him because he stopped aging out in space. But great movie, you should watch it. But it talks about divine intelligence and how he was able to channel back the answers to Earth's problem, or actually enable us to take the next step in our evolution for survival, right? He was able to channel that information back by stepping outside of his limits, or the limits that we had placed on ourselves. But we're talking about divine intelligence, how it is unfathomable. Your ancestors is telling you to really be open. Like, we're talking about synchronicities here, the web weaver. When we think of a web, we're talking about specific points that connect to create this giant apparatus that's purposeful, right? But it's points to several different points that create the web, and how it's related to cause and effect, to karma, to divine intelligence, to synchronicities. Everything is interconnected. No one just gets up one day and just goes to do something. No, that started somewhere. There was a cause, right? That in fact turned into the effect, right? Everything is interconnected. And so there's something about that your ancestors want you to understand. Everything's interconnected. Nothing just happens by happen chance. Okay? But pay attention, because this may be information that's being channeled to you and shown to you through your ancestors. There's something that they want you to be open to and receptive about. And I feel like it's about your past. It's about something in the past that they want to inform you about. But it requires for you to be open. Because if you're not, I'm hearing, they're saying if you're not open, they can shout it all day long. But if you're closed to it, you'll never receive it. That's what they're saying. Lastly, we have the sun dancers. There's some joy that will result as of doing this work and being open to this. There's some joy that you'll be able to experience, some type of celebration that's waiting for you on the other side of this that does also involve abundance. There is a couple here that's dancing in the air. And so this could involve more than one person coming in to experience this with you. Yeah. And so you may, in fact, end up possibly meeting someone, I'm hearing. Someone that you'll be celebrating life with, living life with, sharing an abundant life with. Your ancestors may have, I'm hearing, prepared or is orchestrating or arranging some type of celebration. They may be arranging some type of connection for someone, for some of you. That's what I'm just seeing. A lot of joy around this. Some connection. Could have something to do with love, honestly. That's part of this change that's coming in. There's something better waiting for you in the future. Yeah, and it's going to bring a lot of enjoyment. Okay. I love this. The message from the ancestors. Very important information. Even more important is the need to actually avail yourself and be open to it. I feel very deeply that the ancestors wants to communicate. And so there may be a need to position yourself, meditation, prayer, just being open and ready to receive, okay? Not doubting, okay? All right, that's what I have from the ancestors. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please like, share, comment. Let me know how it resonates. If you have questions, you can always email me. My email will be down below in my description box. If you're looking for a personal reading, you can go over to my calendar. If you have a question, just send it to me. Shoot me an email, okay? I'll talk back. Talk to me, okay? But this is definitely for you. I feel like this is groundbreaking energy coming through, and Spirit wants you to be ready. Your ancestors want you to be ready and not miss this. This feels like a lot of preparation on your behalf. And so thank you for stopping by. Until next time, this is the message coming in from the ancestors. Blood Moon Oracle here. Take care of yourselves and remember, stay open.